All right, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening and coming out to support me, making me real nervous. I have family on the line. I got colleagues and partners and clients and everything listening and having questions. And so I'm excited to bring you information about the accessory dwelling units. It is a passion that I have right now. I mean, I really have been diving into this area for about 3 years now, and then connecting with the ADU Resource Center, as well as some local contractors and lenders, have really given me an opportunity to talk to several hundred of our residents and investors in the Inland Empire about accessory dwelling units. And it's kind of a new wave coming through. So people are still learning, having the learning curve. The laws are changing, requirements are changing, but the need is there. And I just think it's a great opportunity to make a difference in the real estate industry, providing housing, creating generational wealth, and helping us, overcome some of the deficits that we have, especially in the housing that's across the country. I am Dr. Sharon Barnes, and I want to explain a little bit like on the title. Dr. Sharon Barnes, I practiced law for 25 years. As a lawyer, I had to achieve my Juris Doctorate, and that's where the doctor comes from. I had people look and they said, when did that happen? It was like, about 35 years ago. But, I'm still just Sharon, but sometimes it helps with the title. And so it's opening doors. And so it's out there, but you can address me as Sharon Barnes at any time. It also says on this cover, a certified ADU specialist. And there's only 2 organizations that I know that are certifying individuals now. One is in the state of Oregon, I think it's Earth Advantage Brokerage. And a lot of the ADU evolution started in the US in Oregon, in the state of Oregon. So they're kind of ahead of us. And a lot of people have looked to Oregon and their accessory dwelling units as a model, and it flowed down into California. And so a lot of us go up for tours in Oregon State and take advantage of their training, their experience. However, one of the main gentlemen that have, I think it's Cole Peterson up in Oregon, he has a contract with the National Association of Realtors. And so in the last year, the National Association of Realtors have been offering a certification for ADU specialists. And I have completed that training. And therefore, under my license as a real estate professional, I can let you know that I am certified as an ADU specialist. So this is Dr. Sharon Barnes, certified ADU specialist. I want to bring you information about why and how ADUs should be part of your investment strategy. All right, let me get where I can move forward here. I didn't see Mr. Bill Tan that joined us yet, but Mr. Tan is over the LA Real Estate Investment Club. And one thing that he reminded me of, and that he always does before he starts a presentation, is to put up a disclaimer. I have many titles that we just went over, and I want you to understand that this presentation is for information and educational purposes. It's not anything legal or real estate or tax. It's just to give you an idea, and we advise you to get with the proper professionals to make your ADU a reality offline. So there's 3 reasons that I want to kind of bring your attention today as to why ADUs should be part of your investment strategy. First of all, compared to other investment strategies, it's relatively easy. We had breakout rooms today, and there are people interested in multifamily. Multifamily is the focus of a lot of investors, new and seasoned. And we have a shortage of houses. We have a shortage of multi-units available at reasonable prices. And so one of the reasons that I really love units is that it gives us the opportunity to leverage property we already own and control and create our own multifamily units. When you're looking for that duplex or that triplex, I start with a single family residence and do ADUs and turn it into multifamily. And that's what the state has allowed us to do. It's obtainable. It's obtainable because you can get into
I know I missed this.
I'm sorry.
Your mama done too.
Okay, somebody's talking. Is that Thomas or someone else? Okay.
Go ahead. I just muted him.
Okay, it's attainable because you can buy it as a single family residence for like 5% down. We use 5% because we have more negotiation leverage with a conventional loan, and 5% conventionals are available, and you still get some of the lowest rates in the industry. And the financing of soft costs, which are the permits, the drawings, the design phase, where you need to really see whether it's feasible for your property and make some decisions. That cost to get that process started, and people have been having to pay cash or use credit cards sometimes to get it started and recoup it later when they get their main loan in place. However, the industry is evolving, and now there's even possible to finance that soft cost. And so it makes it easier to finance soft costs as well as construction costs, making it more obtainable to get the ADU started. And you can repeat it because with the leases and so forth that we have for rentals, a lot of times the ADUs are new construction. I mean, the ones that the ADU Resource Center build, when we're talking about recessed lighting, stainless steel appliances, hardwood floors or laminate floors. And so it's new construction. And so you can charge a premium for the rent in your area, and it's not usually, it's not attached to the main house. And so with the privacy and so forth, the lease amount can cover the mortgage and sometimes much more, depending on the area that you live in. I talked to one of the lenders one of our network lenders, and they had mentioned that they were working with a group of young people who wanted to get the ADUs by buying them with the 5% down, buying the single family homes, putting the ADUs on them, living in them, and then repeating that process and ending up with about 12 units in 4 years. And they can do that as owner occupied if they stay in the property for a year and then do it again. So it is definitely possible to get the ADUs to a multifamily income level. And the laws are evolving where soon we expect that the ADUs will be viewed as standard income property, which opens up a lot of other opportunities for us. Now, I've been mentioning ADUs, and that stands for accessory dwelling units. I did a presentation before, and there's a lot of things on the internet about what an ADU is. Just for the definition that we're all get on the same page, is that it's an accessory dwelling unit. It has to be a main structure on the lot before one can be built, and you can convert an existing structure, an attached garage, detached garage, or do a new ground up on your lot, depending on whether you can meet certain criteria, certain setbacks. It also includes modular and factory manufactured housing units, can also be used as accessory dwelling units. So is there, okay, one more, let me go back. The accessory dwelling unit laws also cover, in 2020, it also was expanded to cover multifamily. And so if you have duplexes, triplexes, you can add up to another fourplex. 25% of the property of the existing can be converted over into an ADU. And so the laws cover some of the multifamily units as well. So is there anyone who has any question regarding what an ADU is? I kind of went through it kind of fast. But if you have any questions, because we want to make sure that everybody at least has the basic understanding before we move forward. Any questions? Okay. Thomas, you see anything in the chat?
Not at the moment. Take your time. You got all the time you need. Don't have to rush it.
All right, man, I have to slow down here. All right. So we're going to talk about like the basic steps of the ADU, just broad strokes. The first one would be to get a site analysis to see whether or not your property is suitable for an accessory dwelling unit. It has to have like a 4-foot setback, and we have various lots. I'm focusing on the Inland Empire, which is the combined Riverside and San Bernardino counties. We have some of the oldest houses and bigger lots, but we also have some that's on sewer, some that's on septic. We have things that's on the hill and things that are flat. All these type of characteristics of your lot affects cost, price, and design. So the first thing we need to do is to see what size ADU we can put on your property and start designing from there. The second step is basically the design and permits. And that's when our architects get involved when you've made a decision to hire a contractor or a company like ADU Resource Center who can help you from conception of your ADU idea all the way through construction. And if you decide to allow the ADU Resource Center to be your designers, the architect comes out, takes official measurements of your property, go over what you and the consultant has talked about as far as location, size, and design of your ADU, and start preparing the official drawings. There's usually 3 sets of drawings. You have the structural, the engineering, Title 24 drawings. It's very detailed and very elaborate, but it's what you need to start with in order to get the permits. And then there's a lot of stages to go through to get the permits approved. When we're talking about the accessory dwelling unit laws, it's statewide that we can basically put an accessory dwelling unit on any lot. However, you have to go within your city or county where your property is located because they have overlays and different rules and requirements that also have to be met. And some of them are more friendly than others. Some of them really line up with the state law, and some of them are still pushing against the state law. And so that's why you need a good team of professionals and resources that can help you overcome obstacles that you may face on the local level. And then the third phase, once you get the permits, you can go into the construction of the property where you break ground and you know exactly what's being built. Now, these are broad strokes because between step number 1, 2, and 3, there are a myriad of steps and decisions and requirements that must be met. But at this point, we just want to give the broad strokes of the requirements of the phases. But every property is different, and we're here to help you every step of the way. Once you get through the construction, I mean, you can end up, say, one of the just samples of a 500 square foot ADU in your backyard. It increases your property value, and it can result in rental income, in this example, of about $32,000 a year. So the question is, why now? Why should you consider making accessory dwelling units part of your investment strategy? One of the main reasons is the new and evolving ADU ordinances. The planners and policymakers in California have decided that ADUs are going to help us get out of this housing crisis, that we have a shortage of inventory for housing, not only affordable housing, but all up the gamut. And they decided that the large builders can't build us out of this. We need all hands on deck. So they've removed a lot of obstacles from individual homeowners and small developers to boost the production of ADUs, because we all need to help. Because I think they said we're over like 3.5 million units like short across the country. So I know we have people from Texas and from Georgia and other places. Our housing crisis is nationwide, and every state has some program that they're trying to produce smaller homes, self-sustaining living units. And so within your state and in your area, you just kind of have to find out what the name they're going by and who your governing body is, and plug into your investment community in your state to start taking advantage of the smaller, like ADU type of units. The other reason that you should consider it now is that we have more financing available. A lot of homeowners go for cash out refis, HELOCs, renovation loans, even construction loans. But the state and federal government are coming out with grants and other incentives to help produce more living units. One of the grants that we have at Cal HAFA, it started off at the $25,000 grant. Now it's up to $40,000. They'll be reimbursable of the soft costs. That's getting reimbursed for what you pay out for your drawings, your architect, your design, your permit, and so forth. Now they've increased the limit, but we're still looking for lenders and institutes that's actually implementing them. There's a few, but it's coming on board. And this is what happens a lot when we have new laws. You know, they pass laws, they remove barriers, everything sounds great, but it takes time for it to get implemented. And so we need to keep our eyes and ears open for how that grant is being utilized in our area and when that actually becomes active. The next reason why we should consider ADUs as part of your investment strategy is the favorable income from the rental market. And again, I'm focusing on the Inland Empire, Central Inland Empire. It was stated in official data that Riverside, San Bernardino, and Ontario fair market rental area is like 65% more expensive than the rest of California. And we all know California, I mean, the rents are kind of high anyway, but there's opportunity out here. But even though we're 65% higher than the rest of the country, rest of the state, we're not the ones where you see the frenzy in the ADU market. The ADU market right now, San Diego, LA, Orange County, they're building, but their rental market is much higher than ours, so they can put in similar money to creating the ADU and have higher return on their investment. But they are coming to the Inland Empire, and so what we want to do is to educate the investors and the homeowners within our area to leverage the property that they own and control now before they get caught up in the frenzy and lose out on the opportunities. Building cost versus the value. So in the Inland Empire now, the average price per square foot for properties that we see listed on the local MLS is between $350 and $500 per square foot. And as with the accessory dwelling units, we're estimating costs at this time between $275 and $300 a square foot. And it's recently increased because of our the supply chain issue that's affecting everyone, the inflation, things going up, but it's still cheaper to build an ADU than it is to buy another property. So if you're a homeowner and you want to invest in property and you're looking to acquire another unit, it might be better to think about building one in your backyard or buying a house where you can add an ADU to the back and make it a multi-unit lot than to just go buy another single family residence. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier about the state encouraging homeowners and local investors to produce the accessory dwelling units, but the local ordinances are sometimes restrictive. And realize when we go in to build an ADU, because most of us have never been developers before, we've never been builders before. So it's important that we get our information and put together a good team or have a team that's working on your behalf that understands the in and out of getting from your idea through even the permit process, because the cities and counties have a number of departments, sometimes up to over 20 departments that have to review drawings and sign off on permits for your unit. And it also has some restrictions, like if you build what we call a junior ADU, that's 500 square feet or smaller within the existing footprint of your house, it has to be owner occupied. There are some areas that will not allow you to do short-term rentals. And so I know that a lot of people are buying units or even building ADUs for Airbnb. You really need to research to make sure that that ADU can be utilized for that purpose and what the requirements are. The setbacks, the state says it has to be 4 feet. Some people are still asking for 5 feet or different requirements, and so they need to be aligned with the state, but they're not always automatic. So that's where your architects and your contractors and your team can help you. Then there's also other restrictions on building ADUs that some of the cities are trying to put in, or temporary moratoriums that they're doing on certain type of ADUs or some certain type of lots because they're trying to control changing the character of their neighborhood or parking requirements and so forth that are also covered by the state law. But just be aware that even though the state law allows us to build on basically any lot, local laws can, kind of be a hindrance. And so, again, it's important that you have a team of consultants, architects, contractors, and everyone it takes to actually make your ADU project come true. So I've talked to a lot of the, when talking to people interested in building ADUs, it's like, how do you pay for it? Sometimes you want to, people use cash, they use savings, they use their retirement account. They use home equity lines of credit, do cash out refis and renovation loans. Investors use those type of financing as well, but then they know their exit strategy. They have margins that they're trying to make, so they look at HUD 203K loans, hard money loans, private lenders, hedge funds, and construction loans. And so it's good to know your numbers when you go into deciding to build an ADU. And if you're going to use private money or hard money, then you definitely want to know that it's going to give you the return value that you need. So you need to know your exit strategy, your number, and make sure that it works. So in dealing with so people want to build the accessory dwelling unit in the Inland Empire, and I mentioned before that our rental rates, our property values are a little lower than other surrounding counties. The one issue came up with a couple of our projects where we were above the loan limits when they were trying to purchase a property and do an ADU construction with some of the lenders. So I put this in here because we have to be cautious of this. In San Diego County, I believe the loan limit is up to like $945,000 for one unit. In the Inland Empire, one unit, meaning one single family dwelling, your typical house, the loan limit is $647,200. And so in order to get financing, the purchase price of the property plus your construction budget has to be, less than the loan limit. And if it's not, then we, would have some issues. When it gets to like 2 units, it goes up. That would be like if you have a duplex, like I believe there's one client on this call right now in the meeting that has 2 units on the property already, and she's looking in for maybe making a third. Well, with the 2 units, she can do loans that would go up to $828,700. Once she makes that third unit functional, she can the limit would go up to over $1 million on her existing property. And with this particular property that she has, she actually has room to go up to 4 units. And so it gives you a glimpse into how when you increase the units, the number of units on a residential lot, the loan limits go up, and therefore your ability to finance and to renovate or add, additional units go up as well. So with some of the examples working, now I'm not a lender. I am doing the ADU consultant and working with the resource center and other contractors. But in talking with some of the lenders, the examples that one of the examples that we gave was that you could have a single family house in the Inland Empire. We have the loan limit at $647,200. And say that you purchase a property for $465,000. And you put 5% down, that would give you the typical and the conventional loan. That would be $23,250 down, making the loan amount $441,750. This would allow a construction budget of an ADU of over $200,000. So that's why the ADU financing and the loan limits are important. And once you work that number, especially if you're going to be purchasing property with the intent of adding an ADU, that you can get a general idea of what your budgetary constraint would be just based on the loan limits that you can get funded in the area. I mean, there's other costs and there's details, but this gives you a good guide point as to what the budget could be, at least your budgetary limit. And we're all aware that interest rates are going up, and I believe they were supposed to meet today and go up another three-quarters of a point. And so people are panicking and thinking, is my ADU project dead? Is it still a good time to go forth and build an accessory dwelling unit, or should I just wait and see what happens? We say in real estate that the best time to buy is when you can qualify. The best time to build an ADU is as soon as you can get started, because again, the housing crisis is real. Property it increases in value. The need is there, and I say one of the passions is that people are waiting for a bust. They're waiting for a recession. They're waiting for prices to come down. And if we really are honest and look back in history, not even they say 2006, 2008, or 1994, 91, 92. When we look back, when the bust happened and prices went down, so did our income level. And a lot of people lost a lot of property because they lost their jobs. And so when we sit back and wait for something in the future, we're under the premise that whatever living we're making, whatever income, activity, or service that we're providing, it's not going to be affected. I'm going to have money, but nobody else is. And I don't think that's a good bet to hinge on. I mean, I sell real estate. If you don't have money to buy real estate, I don't have money to eat. Okay, it just kind of comes down to that. So we need to take advantage of the opportunity when it presents itself. And so even though interest rates are going up right now, ADUs are still producing a good cash flow. Now, this that I put in, the sample of the ADU, say a small studio of 400 square feet, being at that range of 110 to 120,000. Lenders tell me the payment would be about 545. Minimum rent in the central Inland Empire, just in the area, like 1,300. You probably could get more, but I was being conservative on that. And that would give you a positive cash flow of over $755. If you went up to a one bedroom at 600 square feet, you still would have a positive cash flow of over $600. And sweet spot seems to be at a two bedroom at 700 square feet that you would have almost $1,000 of net income. So, and this is, it might not be groundbreaking to some people, but a lot of investors are happy to make a cash flow. So many times situations happen and they're underwater or they're negative $200 a month because the tenant's not paying or something goes up or the maintenance or something. But it's still a good investment option. If, like I said, if you pick this same basic chart up, put it into another county, it might be higher, but we're talking about moderate to low income housing in the Inland Empire and being able to create housing, charge a fair rent, and get a positive cash flow. So it is definitely a good opportunity. So when we talk about 400 square feet, 5 and 6, a lot of
Boy, Sharon is still on with her thing. It's very interesting.
Okay.
Joanne just called and told me
We need to,
watch it. She's telling about
can you mute? Okay, so when we talk about the small units, it's kind of hard to, for some of us to visualize, like, how can somebody live in 400 square feet? I get that all the time. And it's like, 600, oh, that's so cramped and everything. But it's really with the modern technology, design, the open concept, it really is very functional, and you can see why you can get premium rent for a small unit. I pulled a couple of the popular floor plans from the ADU Resource Center, plans that in talking to people in our community, the yard, it fits in their yard and it's within their budget. And so here we have an open area floor plan with a large kitchen with a little island there with seating, and you have a large bedroom with a wardrobe closet, and you can see the front door. And when we put this in someone's backyard, they have, because it's ground up construction, they can put in sliding glass doors, they can move windows, There's just different things you can do. Say if this bedroom was right next to the walkway between the main house and the ADU, you could actually flip it because generally when we're designing the ADU, we try to put the bedroom as far away from the main house as possible, just for privacy and everything. And people usually, flip things around so the bedrooms are the furthest distance from the house. The other popular one is the 2-bedroom. This is on like a set. You can get it as small as 700 square feet. So this is like easy design for 700 square feet to 850 square feet. We have a lot of the clients in the Inland Empire where we have these large yards. So they either want it back parallel to the house, or it could be there on the side, depending on the access to the backyard where they would be entering their unit. And so with the accessory dwelling units, you want to be able to park to enter, say, a gate and walk to your unit without disturbing or entering the main house. And so positioning a unit like this on your property definitely gives you maximum rental opportunity because you have 2 bedrooms. Some people, I remember talking to one lady who was going to be housing foreign exchange students. And so she liked this unit, but she was even trying to make the living area a little bit smaller and put a 3rd bedroom in there. You can do different things and adjust it, especially when it's ground up construction. You are building something custom, and it can be adjusted to fit budget and to fit your and to fit your particular life. So yeah, bedrooms on the other side that adds privacy and place, and then we have the living area here in the middle. So let me see. I think so I did. I skipped over the 400 to 650 square feet. This is a nice 1-bedroom. So we had 250 to 400 square feet, a nice studio. We can go 400 square feet to 650 with an open concept kitchen. And if you notice right in here, they usually have a washer and dryer unit within the ADU. This one has a bathtub. I've had certain clients that just say they don't want a tub, they just want a shower. So there's different ways you can kind of adjust the space. You might could get more space here. This is a walk-in closet. You might just want a standard closet, depending on whether you're doing, like I said, students or visiting nurses or just a standard rental. But there's room to adjust the some of the characteristics here. But as you can see, it's very roomy and airy, for 1 or 2 people to live in, really with no problem even being less than 1,000 square feet. Now, I was looking for an example of something I could show you that's on the market in the Inland Empire or coming soon. And we're looking around, and I could not resist this particular property, basically because of the name of the street. The name of the street that this property is located on is Slough of Gold Court. That is the actual name. So I could not resist that. This house is coming on the market soon. In the local listing service, we have a category that says coming soon. Best see. That means that they're working on it or something's going on with the property. So it's not active, but it is coming soon. And it's listed at $415,000. So I wanted to see something in real life, show you something active that, and let's use our formula to see what it would look like. So here we have a single family house. You can put a 5% down on the owner occupied conventional loan. That would be $20,750. We have the loan limit of $647,200. And we have a loan amount with, once you deduct that down payment, of $394,250. This would allow you a budget to construct an ADU of $250,950. So these deals do exist. I mean, the houses are not 200,000. They're not, falling over. But if we want to leverage property, we still can purchase at a reasonable value and add an ADU and make it cash flow and have 2 units and build generational wealth and help increase the inventory for our housing crisis. Now, I took the liberty of looking at this property on an aerial view and was trying to fit an ADU back there. So I basically got I can't make it any bigger right now, but basically it's about 500 square feet, 1 bedroom ADU at an estimated cost of $137,500 to $150,000. I haven't mentioned that some of the costs, the estimates we do on the square footage, like I said, $275 to $300 a square foot. But the finishes, the fixtures, certain things that you want, sliding glass doors, the ceiling height, and so forth. Once you design all that, that can impact the budget up or down. And so our architects and contractors can do value engineering to help you get the most economic design for your property. But this would here where we can just get a quick picture of where we could place an ADU. How large could it be? If you notice, some of it's kind of hard to read, but some of the little blue areas here, we said we need a 4 feet setback from the property line, and so here it shows us that we're within that 4 feet range. We meet that requirement of setbacks. In some areas, I know they're requiring it to be 10 feet from the roof line of the main house. Here we only have 7 feet and 7.5 feet from the main house. With our architects and the contractors, we could take this unit and take the same square footage and maybe make it L-shaped. Maybe we could squeeze it back a little bit because we have all this yard here. So it didn't have to be a square. It could be an L shape, and we can get the same basic square footage and meet that, adjust to that 10 feet from the roof line here and make it work. But again, when you can get a quick snapshot of your property and location of the ADU and get a general idea, it makes it easier for you to have conversations with your city, with the county, with the architect and the contractor. So they have something to start with, and then you can develop the details from there. Now, with the ADU strategy, there's some urgency and there's opportunities. I think I've talked a little bit about the opportunities that we can see exist across the country and especially in our area. But the urgency is that the ADU law from the state level initially was due to expire in 2025. It has now been extended to 2026. It only gives us maybe 4 years. We have for the year in 2022, so say 3.5 years to take advantage of this opportunity. As I said, the laws are evolving, and we anticipate with our housing prices that it will be expanded. But right now, we don't have a crystal ball, so we need to take advantage of it now. And recently, in one of our meetings with the ADU Resource Center, we're talking about people, getting started now, and with the we have at the ADU Resource Center, we have probably over 200 projects that's going through permits and coming out for construction. And so we are seeing that various cities and counties are getting behind. We're not the only ones putting in drawings and trying to get permits so we can start construction. It is a long line, and there are rumors that even counties like LA are also outsourcing to San Bernardino and Riverside County for help because they're so backlogged in getting their permits approved. Well, if they send their permits from LA to San Bernardino and Riverside County, what do you think that do to us when we go in to get our ADUs approved? And now we're waiting because our counties and our cities are backed up as well. And so right now, if you go in to start the ADU, we're looking for approval of permits in 2023, and construction might, if you can't get your permits approved until next year, then we probably won't break ground until next about, 12 months from now. I mean, it's getting bad. So the opportunity is here, but we need to get started right away. And when I was looking at this and the conversations I have with some of the people who are interested in ADUs, and we go through and they ask questions and we answer and we try to answer every little thing, but it reminded me of my first trip to Lake Tahoe. I've always heard about Lake Tahoe, hadn't been up there, and I had the opportunity to go to Lake Tahoe. And when I got to Lake Tahoe and to see how big that lake was, and to realize I could stand on one side of the shore and not see the other side. And sometimes it feels like when we're talking about building an accessory dwelling unit or investing in real estate, period, we have to pull the trigger and we stand on the sidelines and we try to get all the information we can. But no one can tell you what the other shore looks like. We can only see so far by standing on the sideline. You have to make a decision. First decision, you want to build an ADU. Second one, you can put one on your property. Third one, who's going to be my designer? Who's going to be on my team? Am I a do-it-yourselfer and I want to walk everything through the process of getting permitted and deal with all the headaches? And I've never built anything in my life and I'm not a licensed contractor or architect. Or do I want to go with a company like the ADU Resource Center or even some of our other local contractors that might be able to help you? But we need to get started. And you can only see so much from the sideline. You have to make those decisions. And not until your permits are approved can somebody really give you a true punchline as to how much something is going to cost. The first question is, how much is the ADU going to cost me? I don't know. I don't know how big it can be in your backyard. I don't know whether you want vinyl plank flooring or hardwood flooring. I don't know if you want luxury or you just want middle of the road. I don't know, if we have any problems, are you on sewer or septic? There's a whole lot of things to go into it. And you have to start walking things out so people can give you informed, intelligent, and real answers. When you force people to give you answers from the sideline, when you can't see the whole picture, that's when we end up with change orders and over budget and incomplete projects. So if you take nothing else, take it that you need to make decisions and at least start walking it out.
Sharon, before you go further, there was a couple of questions. So those individuals that had questions, please ask her real quick. Any questions? It's not the time to be shy, people.
I was waiting for the other person to ask a question because I barely just asked mine. Was there someone before me?
I don't know. So that's what I'm asking.
Oh, okay. I was just asking, I wanted to see if you're available for individual consultations. I have a 5-acre property. I want to split the lot and maximize building other units with ADUs on each. And I was just wondering if that's something that you provide.
Yes. So I'm working with the ADU Resource Center, and then we do have some other members of our club that are contractors that are building ADUs. But with the Resource Center, we do provide consultation and individual. You can schedule with me, and depending on where your property is located, there are team members that we have out Southern California. Like I said, I represent the Inland Empire. We have several reps in the Los Angeles area. In San Diego area. So wherever your property or project is located, you can reach out to me and then I will put you in contact with the right rep if it's not in my jurisdiction.
And then do you guys also provide the lending aspect of it, or do you have lenders that investors work with? Because being an investor, I don't have that W-2 income to get a traditional loan.
Yes, we have a network of lenders that offer various products that work for investors and even a hard money lender. We have lenders that can, like I said, finance the soft costs. And so within our network, we have lenders, we have architects, designers, construction, and everything you need to get your project going and to maximize your life.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll have to set that up with you.
Okay, and I'll have my contact information at the end with my phone number and how you can get in contact with me, and we'll go from there. And I know Danny Johnson, one of our team leaders at the ADU Resource Center, is on the line. So is Mike B, and I'm sure they put their information in the chat, and you can reach out to them as well.
Any other questions? Or matter of fact, do your colleagues want to chime in real quick?
Danny, you have anything you want to add, clarify, correct? Help me out.
Well, I want to congratulate you, Sharon, for a wonderful presentation. I'm surprised at two things. I'm surprised of your doctorate degree. I didn't know that. So now I have to bow at your feet next time I see you. But also congratulations on a well-organized presentation. It's very, very comprehensive. And so what I want to give maybe some of the audience people a little breathing room. It's a learning thing. You don't have to grasp it all in one webinar or on this presentation. Sharon's wonderful to meet with one-on-one. And what I recommend you do is just give her a buzz. Just talk about your property situation and highlight your goal. If you know that you want to optimize, I was in one of the breakout rooms, and I'll just sort of repeat what I said to them and give it back to Sharon. But obviously, you know, we're part of several investment groups at ADU Resource Center. And one of the common things that we see come up a lot is because of the housing pricing right now, it's at the height of the market. So the investors are a bit stifled and befuddled because they can't do what they do, and that is to make a great buy and flip the house and make a good lick on it. So they say, well, look, we're investors. What do we do now that we're paying over listing price? The deal is in the buy. And if we can't buy it right, we can't flip it. So what do we do? Is our livelihood done? Are we finished as investors until the market normalizes? And the answer is no. What we've discovered is that they can take their existing properties that they have and optimize them, meaning that they can raise the cap rate of the rent receivables by maybe just converting a garage for low 100s. And in most neighborhoods, it'll bring a minimum of 1,500. And in some of the other neighborhoods that we're seeing out there, Los Angeles in particular is the golden zip code. It'll bring $2,000 to $2,500 a month. Yes, I said $2,500 a month for a 400 square foot garage because it's in that area where people don't want to commute to work from Inland Empire or Moreno Valley or something like that. So you can do wonders with the properties that you have. It doesn't take a whole lot of money to get started, and the return is ridiculous. Every property is entitled to a junior ADU and an ADU. And with SB 9 and SB 10, which are the two new Senate bills that were approved by legislation this January, you can now apply for a lot split. It's a little uncertain how each city is going to handle that. But effectively, if you have the property, like I think the person that was speaking fair a moment ago, you have a 5-acre parcel. I'm not saying this is what you should do, but Mike Vitito will tell you below. He's one of our team members on the panel. He has an investor with 21 properties, and we're optimizing all of them. And what we're effectively going to do is build a detached ADU out back on their large properties in Fontana, I believe. And what we'll eventually do is build a good enough size, probably start off with a 3-bedroom, 2-bath detached ADU. And once we apply for the lot split, that ADU is now reclassified as a main house. So now you have 2 parcels with 2 main houses. Well, guess what? You're entitled to have a JADU and an ADU per parcel. So now that project, if you were willing to invest 5 years to do it, it could be 6 units. So this is some of the things that Sharon can explain to you when you call her up. The lot split is relatively new, but the thing about affordable housing, anything that solves affordable housing issues right now, California is just supporting it. And so anything that we do, it's just the timing right. The stars are all aligned. And remember, this is only 2 years old. So remember, the legislation for ADUs has been lifted only as far back as 2020, January 2020. So a lot of the stuff many of you have heard before, if it was before 2020 and you were told you couldn't do it, I'll bet you can do it now. So sorry, Sharon, I'll give it back.
That's okay. No, thank you. Yeah, and that's very true. I went out to one of the contractors, Green Tech Construction, and with Arthur, one of the members of the club, and he has built probably 40 ADUs here in the Empire. And we went to Redlands and we're talking on behalf of a client, finding some information. They want to maximize their lot and put as many units on it as possible and do the subdivision and so forth. And they said they hadn't had anyone to do it yet. They hadn't set prices, but the law's in place. You fill out the application and you might be the first one. So again, you can't sit on the sideline. You have to walk it through because it hasn't been around that long. And some of these cities haven't got their first application yet. So, and we always know that being the first has unforeseen hiccups and whatever. But again, if you have a good team with you to help you walk through it, it can be done.
Hey, this is David. I have a question. Thanks, Thomas. Sharon, thank you so much. That was an amazing presentation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a question for yourself, Danny, maybe the team. I'm an investor and I've been looking into ADUs. I'm just curious on the different counties or cities that you can do an ADU as an investor, not living in the property.
That's statewide. That's statewide. So you have to, the only owner occupied that we run into is a junior ADU, that 500 square feet unit within the existing footprint of the house, that they're requiring that to be owner occupied. The question is, how long did the owner have to occupy it? Some lenders are saying 6 months, some are saying a year, and some says it's not clear according to the law.
There's even, Sharon, there's even discussion that that's going to be going bye-bye soon anyway. So as affordable housing solutions are supported by legislation, I think we'll see a lot of these laws amended and maybe evolve into something even easier than they are now.
Right. So as an investor, you can buy in any county in the state of California. And again, as I mentioned, San Diego is on fire, LA is on fire, Inland Empire has huge opportunity without that overcrowded competitiveness. And we still have the numbers with houses 500,000 or less that can easily be leveraged with an ADU. And I'll also say I am a licensed realtor as well with Caldwell Banker, and I have a listing in LA. And, it had a huge lot and everything. So definitely knew it was going to be an investment property. And, they're making multi-families out of every lot they possibly can. And we had a couple of investors come in to purchase that particular listing, but they wanted to tear it down and build up like 6 plexes on that lot, and found out that the city had put a moratorium on that particular street and that particular block until May next year. So that type of investor could not purchase that lot and do anything with it for another 12 months. However, you could remodel that house and put extended add on a junior ADU with the detached garage, with the garage, and build another ADU on it. And you could do that right away. So they were supporting the construction and development of ADUs on the property by and not allowing multifamily, more apartments south on the property.
So my other question, thank you so much for that. My other question is, if you are an investor, what zoning areas can you invest in and not reside on the property? Would it be like multifamily? So duplexes, triplexes, and then can you also add on 2 units if it is a duplex and still not live there?
Like I said, the requirement to live there is only if there's a junior within the footprint. But the zoning, if you have a duplex, as I said earlier, you're allowed to add up to 25% additional conversion of like an ADU or space. We have apartments where, they're more common probably in LA, but where they have that if you would drive underneath the apartment and have parking stalls down there. And they're retrofitting those for earthquake and turning those into ADUs just underneath, instead of having parking, they're making those ADUs. And then we have, I've seen apartments in the Inland Empire where they're taking away the washrooms. They've actually remodeled some of the apartments and put the stackable laundries inside the apartment and taken away the laundry room and rec rooms and making them into housing units under the ADU multifamily type law. So you can do it basically anywhere, and there's a lot of options where you don't have to live in it. It just depends on your budget, what communities you feel comfortable in, and we can make it happen for you to get the return on investment, your margin that you're looking for.
Hey, Sharon, can I just add something to that real quick?
Yes.
I want to just sort of address David's question. As I know it, David, there's only one condition where you have to be owner occupied, and that's if you're building a junior ADU. If you're building an ADU or a multifamily property, anything with the 2 duplex or higher, you're allowed 1 ADU per unit, right? And if you don't have to be owner occupied on any of those. The only condition is that if you're building a junior ADU, you have to be owner occupied. And even that might even be challenged in legislation in the next year or two.
Danny, do me a favor. For those that might not understand, explain what a junior ADU is.
Sure. So the short version is simply this. Let's imagine that we have a property like Farah's out there. She's got 5 acres and she wants to put a detached unit out back somewhere. So we can visualize what that looks like. It's detached, it's not connected. Then there's an attached ADU, which simply means it's touching the main house, right? It doesn't have to go through. In other words, it doesn't have to have a hallway. It just has to share a common wall, okay? If it's touching, it could be even a garage. If it's an attached garage, if it's touching, you can convert that into a junior ADU and still build Farah's detached ADU out back. So you're entitled to 2. The rules simply say that it's got to be attached, it's got to be internalized, which means it's sharing a common wall. It cannot exceed a grand total of 500 square feet. Okay. So if you were to say, take a 3-bedroom master bath, if you had a master bedroom and a master bath, you said, look, we want to take this, we want to convert this into a junior ADU plus build an ADU out back. You can do it. Can I expand it? Yes, you can expand a maximum of 150 square feet, but you cannot exceed 500 total for everything inside. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. I have another question. If you found a duplex, let's say, and there's a separate detached structure that you can convert into an ADU, can you also add an additional ADU on top of that if it's a multifamily zoning property?
You're entitled on multifamily. The rules are somewhat strict. You're entitled to 1 per unit, or if it's a multi-unit, like it's 8 units, you're allowed up to 25% of the total amount of units. So there's a cap of how many you can add.
Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then in reference to financing, if you are an investor, I mean, what are you seeing out there today for something like that versus going to hard money, going that direction?
Well, there's a variety of ways you can do this. For investors, you have a different animal. A lot of them, I think somebody was talking about earlier that they're not W-2'd. So you have to tell the investors, or you have to get yourself aligned with an investor that does no doc financing. And that means that you don't have to prove your income. So are you subject to a slightly higher rate? Yeah. But in your case, since it's all about ROI, it's about return on investment. What you're looking for is solutions to get the money, finance your ADU, whatever that payment is, as long as the rent you're going to collect exceeds that, you'll be getting change back. So at the end of the day, it's still a good deal. And so there are cookie cutter banks that you'll walk into. They don't have those programs. So you have to go through Sharon and use her network, because it's all about, knowing the guy that knows a guy. That's how it gets done.
Right, absolutely. And then real quick, Danny, your scenario that you mentioned about splitting the lots to possibly 6 units, would that be something, if that's obviously can be done? I mean, do you have to live in that situation on that property or not?
If you do 6, yes, because one of them is going to be a junior, right? So if we're going to do a junior, that's the only thing. Whenever you say the word junior ADU, it means the owner has to live there. Now, let's say legislation changes down the road. I'm going to say that if you were going to optimize that property and take a single house like Farah's and on 5 acres, and then build a big ADU, detached ADU in the back 40, split that lot, take one of those bedrooms and maybe a garage and commandeer it into an ADU and a junior ADU. Theoretically, you'll have 2 parcels with a main house, a junior, and an ADU on both parcels. So that's a total of 6 units. You will have to live in one, but it's probably going to take 5 years for that to be completed anyway. And by that time, I think legislation will be rewritten by that time anyway.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
And I will mention too, I don't think we said it yet, because I focused on the smaller ADUs with some of the lots and sizes and so forth. But you can build an ADU up to 1,200 square feet detached. So you can build a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ADU on your property. So that 5 acres, if you, like you said, if you build another ADU, a 1,200 square foot ADU that will serve as a main house, and then maybe build another ADU, maybe smaller. There's also there's a breaking point. If you build an ADU smaller than 750 square feet, you get some breaks on impact fees and other costs. So there's a lot to it. And again, We want you to be able to take away the information that it can be done, and there are people and teams and companies that are available to help walk you every step of the way to get it done. And the screen you see up now, it says ADU Advantage. I am the CEO and founder of ADU Advantage, and under that company, my focus is to educate and be a resource to the community, to homeowners and investors to make it happen and to help pull together everyone you need, the financial specialists, consultants, architects, contractors, project managers, and to be a supporter of any development services that you might need. And the way I carry that out is through my partnership and being part of the team with the AD Resource Center. We are building a network of contractors and architects here in the Inland Empire so we can better serve this community. They are, the AD Resource Center is also looking for referral partners because, we're covering Southern California and it's a great need and we're growing. And so we need all the resources that we can find that can do quality work and who have a heart for the community and who understands the in and out of ADUs and follows the laws and the updates. And so we're here to work as a team to make sure that you can get that return on investment that you're looking for or create that generational wealth. So pretty much at the end of the presentation, I was asked to do a basic site plan that I had prepared for several prospects and clients before. As I said earlier, this is the second time I've spoken at the club, and they were interested in seeing this again. And so, as someone said earlier, you can call me, and we can set up an appointment, do a Zoom, and I can pull your property up, do an aerial view of the property. We can talk about what ADU put on your on the property. Let me see, it's working. So, and we can position it. It's important sometimes to know like whether you're on sewer or septic, and you can point out like where your utility connections are, where your sewers are, where your sewer connection is, if you have a pool in the backyard or whatever. And we can kind of just get started to give you a basic snapshot. A picture's worth 1,000 words. So when you can see floor plan on your property, know that you meet the basic setbacks, know that you can put the ADU there, visualize how a person would enter the property and walk to their front door. It just helps you to communicate with your local authorities and with the architects and stuff to start detailing your project and to have something to work with. And so I'm offering that at no cost. If you call to have a conversation with me and you're interested in building an ADU, I'll give you this 2-page basic site plan at no cost, and we'll talk from there. And we also do on-site evaluations. But with the cost of gas, with the supply chain issues and everything, if we're going to come out to site visit, we really have to have a thorough understanding that you're ready to get started and that your basic questions and concerns have been addressed. Okay, any questions, anything else?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, I have in my home, I have a 7-bedroom home. One of the bedrooms is a mother-in-law quarters. It has its own entry. And so my, once the kids leave, I wanted to take and make this into an ADU because it looks almost like a separate part of the house.
Yes.
So I was going to wall it off, put in another kitchen.
Yes.
But the sound, because it's still attached. I wanted to soundproof it. You couldn't hear.
Right.
And so is that possible?
Yes, that's possible because when you come in, if you want to do that installation, or there's so much technology out here now with finishings and so forth on texturizing the walls and things that it can be done. Now we don't know what the cost impact would be and how many walls you would want to soundproof, because I've been in houses where we had they had a large living room, then you had the kitchen, and then they had what they call the great room, and then they had the master bedroom over to the side. So they were going to put up a wall on the opposite side of the kitchen to close off that great room, make that like the living area for the ADU, and a door to walk into the master bedroom. When you incorporate the master bedroom, you already had the bathroom and this large, room and the closet and so forth. So that keeps down on construction because you weren't, changing that. And then there was a door that entered the master bedroom from the hallway, and they were going to seal that off. And so there can be soundproofing techniques and so forth. I don't know how soundproof you would get it, like if you're in a recording studio, or we just trying to get the level where you're in an apartment and sometimes you hear a little bump or something, but it's not like you can really hear someone talking unless they get really loud, and it depends on how much you want to spend on getting it soundproof and the design, because in that case where they were talking about cutting off the house, it was for the mother-in-law. And so when you're dealing with seniors or family and that's your primary purpose, one of the reasons is that you want to have a little security to know if they need help, you can kind of hear, but yet you have your privacy. And then if you're sharing, if the kitchen is there and then you have a living area on the one side and you really the bedroom and the way it was laid out, you have the bathroom there maybe next to the main, in the hallway or whatever, but the bedroom and the, the ensuite and all this other stuff is kind of far off. So it just depends. But yes, you can soundproof it, and putting it up doesn't mean that you would have like a lot of noise, because all the ADUs meet the building requirement, the building standard. And so there's like, we have like Lewis Home with those multi-generational homes, like you said, with the mother-in-law quarters and so forth, sealing off the entrance and adding the kitchen and so forth. You probably wouldn't have that much of a sound issue anyway.
Okay. Is there any special kind of permits I would have to have if I added a kitchen?
The ADUs, by definition, are required to be self-sustaining. So all ADUs must have like a bathroom and a kitchen. And that's what makes it different than the granny quarters and guest quarters that we used to have. I know like on the internet and around, companies are calling granny suites and whatever. It's really back when we had those houses that are referred to as granny suites and casitas and so forth. You weren't allowed to have a full kitchen or a full bathroom. You had to, those people that lived in them were supposed to rely on the main house for basic living. You wasn't for long term. Now with the ADUs, it's self-sustaining long-term living, so they must be able to take care of all their needs in their own confinement and not rely on the main house at all. And so when you're talking about you have a 7-bedroom house and you want to split it off into an ADU, the only thing is that when our architects come out, they have to do the drawings to reflect the entire house, because they have to show the house as is. Then they have to show the proposed division, and then the drawings are detailed to have all the wiring, make sure that that is up to code, is in compliance with all the health and safety and everything. So the drawings might be more expensive because we have to draw out the details of a 7-bedroom house to get 2 of the bedrooms converted to an ADU. You know what I mean? But other than that, you still have to go through the permitting process. So it's nothing special. All ADUs requires permit. And then the law does allow for unpermitted structures to become permitted, and to give people time to bring them up to code. So, back in the day, we had people who converted garages and, build granny flats and casitas without permits, because the permits were so expensive. I mean, prior to the ADU law a couple of years ago, I went down to the city of Moreno Valley. The impact fees were $45,000.
Oh my goodness.
No matter whether you were building a 400 square foot garage conversion or 12, it was 45, because when you build anything, the impact fees covers, fire, school fees, just all the things that make the city and everything go round. And they were charging these fees, and then you say, wow, that's why people did things without permits.
Right.
that's why now the state stepped in and said, hey, we have a crisis. We need to get the ones that exist. We need to get them permitted, and we have to make it proportionate. And so impact fees are waived if it's under 750 square feet ADU, and they have to be proportionally applied if it's above 750 square feet. So that's one of the barriers that the law did address to help us, So we want to make sure that people are safe and that things are up to code.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. That was really good information. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So my contact information is here on the screen. You can reach out to me. I do have LinkedIn, Facebook, my email. It's my cell phone number. You can text me. You can call me. We can set up Zoom meetings or whatever you need. And like I said, if it's something beyond me, I do have the team at the AD Resource Center. I have several contractors here in the Inland Empire who've met with clients and prospects that want to do ADUs. I said in the beginning that ADUs do include the manufactured and modular. And so we have contractors that work with that. The Resource Center do ground up construction only and remodels and so forth of the houses. But, with the with the modulars, you can use them as ADUs, but you have to remember that with the modular, you usually get them on the unit. They're not attached, and they need to be put on a permanent foundation. So you still need to do that infrastructure before they arrive. And some of the people who have mixed standard construction with modular are having some problems with getting insurance coverage and getting value, the same value for their property when they're paying basically the same money. So they're out there, and there are certain lots that, it's necessary for maybe modular to make it happen. But if you can do ground up construction, that is the preferred method because it matches your current house. Unless you're living in a modular, then let's do modular.
Yeah, I'd like to say something else. This is David Andrade. With my partner, we do notes of a note business. We have quite a few investors because we're looking for actually partnerships or JVs. We'd be willing to fund the deals, but we want somebody who's familiar with the construction and even better, a contractor as a partnership. But I just wanted to throw it out there. We'll be, we're able to look at something to possibly JV or partnership on something.
Okay, that sounds great. And reach out to me because I know a couple of the contractors weren't able to make it this evening, and depending on what type of scenario we're running, AD Resource Center might be able to be that partner as well.
Oh, will do. Thank you.
Any more questions? Any more questions? Don't be shy, because once you get off, you're gonna be like, I should have asked that question. Or I'm not sure, I don't remember. Then I got to go back and re-listen on Facebook, which that's a good thing. But she's here now. Asked her. She's live. Otherwise, I'm gonna start picking on people.
Hey, Thomas, I just want to again tell Sharon, great job and thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you
for your support.
Show. For those people in the Inland Empire, Riverside County is the 15th fastest growing county in the United States.
Yes.
It's the #1 fastest growing county in the state of California. And it's only the fourth, I think it's the fourth largest county, but it's growing faster than anything else. So this is like, LA in the 70s and 80s. You're going to see a ton of growth out there. There's nowhere else to go. And all the cities are just doing everything they can to modernize and get going. So this is an exciting time for the Inland Empire. Yep,
it's time to catch that wave and not wish you would have invested in bottled water or Microsoft or someone who was in the garage. This is a wave to catch, and really, like I said, even if we do go through another downturn like we've had in the past, and we all know that real estate is circular and go up and down, everybody in the family don't have to lose their house. Let's hunker down and get a little compound going. Let's get 3 units. Let's create some wealth, create some security, and so we can ride the tide whenever it raises.
All right, now I'm gonna start picking on people. So here we go. Mr. Wayne Downey, we appreciate you coming. Tell me what what Sharon had done to tickle your mind, amaze you? What did you get out of it?
Well, hello everybody. Well, as usual, Sharon has given a great presentation. I don't have any property to invest to do an ADU, but if I did, I'd definitely go to Sharon. The information she was given was well, pretty informative, and quite a bit of it I did know. She just reaffirmed, and some of it had to change anyway because yeah, I know some people also that had units that were grandfathered in and they wanted to change things up, but because of the housing situation, it's definitely lends itself to an opportunity. I'm looking for the right investment. If I get one, I'm definitely looking to put another unit in the back. I'm not there right now, but yeah, and I wanted to come and hear a presentation because I know things are changing all the time.
Yes.
Things are changing all the time, and with her working, but one thing about it though is that things are expensive. When she was talking about those fees that that they imposed, she was talking about Moreno Valley, but it wasn't just Moreno Valley.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, those fees are just phenomenal. I didn't know they had. I assumed they changed and went down, but
Yeah.
I know that was expensive just to add something on, and with all these other fees and everything. And I just different cities are, which is crazy. So yeah, I think the opportunity is there if anyone has that room to do that, and may as well jump on the bandwagon because yeah, LA is what's happening right now. Expensive, expensive, expensive. And as soon as the Inland Empire catch up, it's going to be hard. We might have everybody haven't even got on the bandwagon. Probably have to move out of the state. Either way, a great presentation, and I'm glad that I see. I was wondering who Danny was. I didn't see. Was it Mike? And then I saw ADU behind him. So yeah, you brought that your support with you today.
Hey, I got a team that came to support. Yeah,
and that is appreciated too. So
it's a great group.
That's good.
Appreciate you, Wayne. Vincent, tell me what you got out of Miss Dr. Barnes' presentation.
Yeah, so what I learned was that there's a lot of you got to do for permitting. You want to do it soon because there's a backlog. So if you want to get on top of it, you want to do it now. And it'll take about a year, and then you can start doing the ground up construction after that.
Okay, appreciate it. Robert G., tell me what you got out of Dr. Barnes' presentation. Are you still there, Robert? Okay, so we're gonna go to Love Rock. Is that your name? Okay. Miss Tillett, tell me what you got out of Dr. Barnes' presentation. Is she there still?
Did you say me? Yeah, I'm still here. You're talking to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the things that stuck out to me is how multifamily owners can go ahead and increase their property value and their income by adding or converting, some of their unused carports and stuff like that. So I do like that you can add the ADUs on to multifamily already that you already have, and then also the converting like an extra room in your house, and that's pretty interesting.
Okay, appreciate it. Andy, tell me what you got out of Dr. Barnes' presentation.
Hey, oh my gosh, there's so much. I've heard a little about AUDs, but today was like AUD, and we just got a degree. Phenomenal. This is wonderful. There was a lot of things. So one thing is there's several things, but I love you showing the designs. And like, for example, I didn't know you could do 2 and 3 bedrooms because most people I've been seeing is just converting garages.
Yeah.
So I thought it was sort of like a studio or 1 bedroom kind of. I've never seen them that large. They really are homes. And I just thought I had like 20 different things that ran through my mind of so many ways you could use them. I thought about a few things, but I was like, gosh, you have so many situations where the housing is an issue for different reasons. Some people are getting divorces. I mean, I'm listening to people saying, well, my husband's got all this property. It's in LLCs and I'm in court and I've got the kids and we got to get out and where we're going to go, to college students who are saying, you know what, I don't want to pay $1,500, $2,500 for rent in college. I want to be at home, but I want to be, in my own space. And I'm thinking, wow, that's great. And I know I had mentioned a while back that anybody who had maybe aging parents or something, or maybe not aging parents, but with a 2 and 3 bedroom, you could, because I always picture them as 1 room. But you can always have someone move into the AUD, and then the family, the younger family members. I had said something a couple months ago about just like the kids are coming back. There's so many people coming back and joining forces that the family could have more family members staying in the larger home. There's just so many things you can do. And I love too with investors, because it is hard right now. So using that extra land and those extra spaces, because to me, there's so many people that are doing tiny homes and living in vans and RVs and all. There's so many people used to it. And I know people who are going 6 months abroad and they're working and they're selling their home and they're putting their stuff in storage, or they're doing RVs and they're like, okay, we did that for a year. We're tired. We want to go back. And maybe those homes aren't available anymore. So it's a lot. There's so much that you covered. And there's just so many things going through my mind, but this is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Thomas.
Yes.
Hey, I think you called me. My son said I heard you say my name, LaRock.
Yes, I did.
Hey, Thomas, I appreciate you setting this up. Thank you very much. Doctor, very informative, very, very inspiring. I'm actually in the process. I actually sent you a Facebook message. I need your help. I bought a property and I am looking to build an ADU. I just got an architect. I just gave the stamp of approval for the drawings. So financing is going to be my challenge, I guess you can say. But again, I learned a lot with your presentation, which was well put together. It motivated me that the time is now, and I need to put my foot on the gas instead of slowing down. So I appreciate you, and I'll be reaching out to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, LaRock, what's your market you in?
I'm in Riverside. Thomas, you and I have spoke quite a bit. I'm Walter.
Okay, got you. All right.
I'm in Riverside, and I have two properties right now. One is 1,000 square foot on almost an 8,000 square foot lot. I have an alley in the back. My other property is 800 square feet, and that property sits on 1,000 or some. It's plenty of room for an ADU. So that was my plan, and like I said, she's just motivating me to keep going.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, because I don't have to get in your behind no more.
Yep, that's right.
Because I'm a pain in the behind. I'm gonna tell you.
Oh yeah, that's all good. It's all love. Appreciate
That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming. Farrah, talk to me. Tell me what Dr. Barnes inspired you on. She's not there.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute.
Well, I'm sorry because I didn't do a proper introduction.
Yeah, where was my red carpet?
I know, I forgot. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I got to give it to you every time I talk to you.
Oh, we can skip it. We can skip it this time. So, okay. I was really intrigued when Sharon just did a quick.
Hold on, you got to call it Dr. Barnes. Come on now.
Sorry, Doc.
That's okay. Thank you.
So I really I've been wanting to speak with you for quite a while since the networking event at Mission Inn.
Okay.
And anyway, a lot has been going on. So when I saw your name pop up, I was like, I have to go to this and maximize your time. So thank you again for sharing. Mainly, I think just seeing the potential of what you can do. And I love the visual of you take, someone with a decent sized backyard and you stick, just like a square in there, but you're showing this is what it would look like. And I'm more of a visual person, so it's kind of hard to visualize it. Even with, say, 5 acres, it's still hard to visualize. What does that look like? Do I still have my privacy? If, I'm on the property, I still want privacy. So I think that would definitely benefit. But I mean, I loved everything you had to say. And specifically when you were talking about the loan amount and how much you have to play with on building an ADU, because I was kind of curious about that. If I bought a house with a big size yard and getting a construction loan instead of just buying it traditionally. So I figured, why not start doing that with properties that I see with a good size yard and just adding an ADU from the get-go.
Exactly.
So thank you.
Thank you. Look forward to talking to you.
Yes. And I already sent you an email. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, now, before we go a little bit further, before anybody else checks out, wanted to get you guys to understand on the 26th of June, which is 2 weeks from now, Dr. Barnes will be on my radio show, and we're going to get a little bit deeper into everything that she's done thus far in her career. So check it out. It starts at 1 p. Pacific, and then on the East Coast, it'll start at 4 p. Eastern time. So check us out. Go to kcaaradio.com and you can listen live, and in a couple of days you'll see the video. So check her out, and also support Dr. Barnes and Miss Latoya Tillett, because they'll be hosting their radio show next month. Be up under the Real Women, the Finest Women of Real Estate, hosted by them, of the Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. So please show them some love. This is something new that they're going to be venturing in. So show them some love, become guest speakers, all kind of things for them. So this is another platform that they're using. So I'm going to go keep going. Drew P., talk to me. Tell me what Dr. Barnes inspired you on.
Oh, it was I don't know which way my camera's facing. I don't even see it. I'll turn it off. But it was good. It just I've looked into it a little bit before, and it validated for me that you can do up to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet. My subject property, so to speak, is going to be the house that we're in. It's in Costa Mesa. It's 4.3, 1,900 square feet, and I was looking to do something like a second story. I don't have the lot space to do anything really. Well, I maybe could, but I don't think it would be as nice as having like a second story. So I know there's going to be some additional costs with doing the foundation and the footings, I think what it is.
The footings, yeah.
Yeah. So I got to look into those extra costs and then just see if it will work out. But I think it's exciting. So thank you as well.
You're welcome. Yes, and reach out to the AD Resource Center. We've done those 2 stories in Orange County and San Diego, and so we can definitely help you with that.
All right, Danny, you want to say anything about your colleague, Dr. Barnes?
I just want to say thank you to Sharon for inviting Mike and I and Bob earlier, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm looking forward to seeing. Maybe you'll invite me back another time. It was fun to watch. It was really nice. You did a very, very good job, Dr. Barnes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome anytime, and don't forget the 26th. Don't forget the 26th. Who else? David, talk to me. Tell me what else have you learned? If there's anything else that you haven't added before.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, the financing is obviously a big concern, but yeah, I do like there's possible options for that the government can step in, especially with low-income housing, and also splitting the lots. That was very good.
Thank you.
All right, Mike, you want to say anything about your colleague, Dr. Barnes?
No, I think everything's been said, and wonderful job, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. On Monday morning, I'm just Sharon.
I know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate you guys attending. You guys are more than welcome to come back anytime. Next month, I have a gentleman named Stephen Jones Lewis. Now, he's an insurance advocate. So he's the kind of person that if you have insurance on your property and you're not sure if you're getting all the benefits from your insurance company, he's the kind of guy that will help you make sure that you get everything from your insurance that you need that they might not have told you or you wasn't aware that was available to you. So that's next month. That is on the 20th of July. Excuse me. He'll be doing his presentation. He's from the East Coast. So come and give that brother some love. Also go to my social media platforms to let me know and meet up. Let me know how well I'm doing, or if I need to change anything, or you just don't like me, tell me to go kick rocks or whatever the case may be. I'll take all the criticism. I want to make sure that this club is actually giving out the content that it needs. I do appreciate Dr. Barnes for being here every month, supporting the club. A lot of people that I know, they know I'm going to get on them. I'll tell them, but it's all in love, because without them, I'm no good. I'm nothing, and the point is that what I'm looking at is building, instead of us buying a house at a time, let's buy communities, let's buy blocks, let's buy cities, let's buy, what we can, instead of letting all the hedge fund guys do everything and take it from us. And we sit here waiting just to get a piece of the pie. Let's get some of that pie that they taking as well. And that's what I want to bring to the table with my platforms. My club is every third Wednesday of the month. I'm Zoom until the end of the year. Then I'll do mixed use Zoom and live, because I do have people coming from the East Coast. I have the radio platform, the radio show platform. It's great. I got the green light to add these wonderful women to have their own spin on women in real estate, especially Black women in real estate. So I'm excited about this, and I'm looking forward to see how far they can go with this. So please, come back. Come back. So this is the end of the meeting at this point, unless anybody else have anything they want to say. They want to talk about deals that they having problem structuring, or the inventory that's out there. We can still talk, or if you guys ready to go, we can end it for this evening. So I'll take it that that's the end. I'm about to shut off Facebook Live.